The last time I spoke to my ex-wife, she sent me a picture of our old house with the caption, "I drove by today and almost turned in." I didn't respond because my new partner was sitting next to me, and I still wonder what she would have said if I had. We were married for 12 years. Her name was Cassie. We met in our mid-20s at a bar just outside of Linwood. I was just starting to settle into a construction job with the city, and she was in her second year of teaching elementary school. It wasn't some whirlwind romance. It was slow, steady, real. We moved in together after a year, and 2 years after that, we got married. We bought the blue house on 26th Street in Everett. 2 stories, a little patch of grass in the front, and a backyard that never really grew anything but moss. But it was ours. Life with Cassie was good for a while. We had routines. She made the coffee, I made the eggs. On weekends, we'd drive out to Whidbey Island or work on little house projects. She loved doing puzzles on the dining room table. I remember always having to move the pieces just to eat dinner. It wasn't perfect, no marriages, but we had a rhythm. That rhythm changed after her miscarriage. We'd been trying for a year. When it finally happened, we were both excited, nervous, scared. She was about 8 weeks along when she started bleeding. We went to the hospital and they told us what we already knew. Cassie shut down after that. She stopped laughing. She stayed up late watching old sitcoms with the sound barely on. I didn't know how to help her. I still don't know if I even tried hard enough. A few months later, she started mentioning this new teacher at her school. Ben. He was 27, fresh out of his teaching program. She said he reminded her of herself when she first started. At first, I didn't think anything of it. She'd always been friendly, always cared about her coworkers. But then I noticed she was texting more at night. She started coming home later. Said they had curriculum meetings or parent-teacher prep. I wanted to believe her. I really did. It all blew up one night when she left her phone on the bathroom sink. A message popped up while I was brushing my teeth. It said, "Still thinking about how soft your skin was last night. Can't wait for Thursday." I didn't confront her right away. I screenshotted it. I sat with it. I stared at it for hours. The next day, I asked her how her night had gone. She said it was exhausting and that she and Ben had stayed late sorting through reading assignments. I asked if she was sleeping with him. She paused for half a second too long and said, "Why would you even ask me that?" That night, I showed her the message. She didn't even deny it. She just said, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't plan it." I remember standing there, watching her cry, and thinking how strange it was that I felt nothing. No anger. No yelling. Just empty. Like the part of me that loved her had been shut off without my permission. I moved out a week later. She kept the house. I didn't fight for it. Maybe I should have, but I didn't have the energy. I found a 1-bedroom rental near the train tracks. It smelled like mold and beer, and I barely slept for the first 3 months. Cassie didn't reach out again after the divorce. No, how are you? No birthdays, nothing. It was like she'd erased me the second I signed the papers. Over time, I started seeing someone else. Her name is Dana. We met at the hardware store. She was trying to find a replacement part for her kitchen sink and looked completely lost. I helped her out and we ended up grabbing coffee. It was easy. Natural. She didn't talk in circles or play games. She was kind. After everything with Cassie, that felt like gold. Fast forward to last month. Dana and I were sitting on the couch one evening, flipping through shows. She was snuggled up next to me with a blanket over her lap. My phone buzzed, and I picked it up. It was a text from Cassie, a photo of the blue house. The caption said, "I drove by today and almost turned in." That was it. No hey, no emoji, no extra words. Just that picture and that sentence. My heart started racing. I stared at it for what felt like forever. Dana was right there, so I didn't say anything. I didn't reply. I didn't show her. I just locked my phone and acted like nothing happened. I haven't stopped thinking about it since. It's not like Cassie to almost do anything. She was always the type to follow through. If she sent that, it meant something. Maybe she regretted everything. Maybe she missed the life we had. Or maybe she just wanted to see if the door was still open. I didn't respond. But now I wonder if that was a mistake. And I wonder what would have happened if I had said something. But this isn't just about wondering. Because 2 days after that message, something else happened that changed everything. 2 days after Cassie's message, I got another one. This time it was a voicemail. She hadn't called first. Just sent a voice message through text. The little bubble said audio message, tap to listen. I stared at it for a while before playing it. I waited until Dana left for the grocery store. I didn't want her to hear it. I closed the bedroom door, sat on the edge of the bed, and pressed play. Her voice came through shaky like she'd been crying. She sounded tired. Not sick tired, but world-worn. The kind of tired that doesn't go away with sleep. Hey, I probably shouldn't have sent that picture the other night. I wasn't trying to mess with you. I don't know. I miss that place. I miss what we were. You were good to me even when I didn't deserve it. There was a long pause. Ben left me. About a month ago. He got another job in Portland. Said he didn't want to do long distance. Funny, right? After everything he said about being my person. I guess he changed his mind. Another pause. I'm not asking you for anything. I just needed to say it. That I messed up. And I know you probably hate me, but if there's any part of you that still wants to talk, I'd like that. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. Then it ended. Just like that. I sat there for a while. I felt this tight pressure in my chest, like a weight I'd forgotten was still sitting there. Part of me wanted to call her right then. Part of me wanted to delete the message and never look back. I didn't do either. Instead, I saved it. 2 nights later, Dana noticed I was distracted. We were eating takeout in the kitchen, and I guess I'd been staring into space too long. You okay? She asked, wiping her mouth with a napkin. Yeah, I lied. Just tired from work. She nodded, but I could tell she didn't believe me. Dana's smart. She's been through her own mess of a divorce. She knows what silence means. That night, while she was in the shower, I listened to the message again. Then I did something I shouldn't have. I replied. Just one line, "Are you still at the house?" She responded instantly. I parked out front again. I've been doing that a lot lately. I didn't reply after that. I put the phone down and went to bed next to Dana. But I didn't sleep. My brain was spinning too fast. Over the next week, I kept expecting Dana to say something, to ask why I'd been so quiet. But she didn't. She just kept being her normal self, kind, gentle, patient. That made it worse. One morning, I woke up to another message from Cassie. This time it was a picture of the backyard. The old patio lights were still there. The ones we strung up together the summer before everything fell apart. She'd captioned it, "Still feels like home sometimes." I didn't respond. But 3 days later, I found myself parked on the corner of our old street. Just sitting there in my truck, engine off, staring at the house. Someone had trimmed the hedges. The porch swing still squeaked in the wind. And then I saw her. Cassie. She was standing inside the house in the living room window, staring out. She didn't smile. Didn't wave. Just looked at me. I don't know how long we stayed like that. But something changed in me in that moment. Something I didn't expect. And it wasn't love. It was something darker. Because I finally realized why she was doing all this. It wasn't just guilt. She wanted something. And I was about to find out exactly what. I didn't go back home right away after seeing her in the window. I drove around for almost an hour, stopping once to get gas I didn't need. I kept thinking about that look on her face, blank, not hopeful, not sad. Just waiting. Like she already knew I'd show up eventually. When I finally got back to my apartment, Dana was on the couch watching a movie. She looked up at me and smiled, but her eyes said something else. "You were gone a while," she said. "Yeah," I replied, hanging up my jacket. "Got caught in traffic." She didn't push. Just nodded and turned her attention back to the screen. That night, I couldn't sleep again. Around 2 a.m., I went to the kitchen for water and saw a new message on my phone. From Cassie. Just one line. "I need to talk to you. Not about us. It's something else." I stared at it for a full minute before typing back. "What is it?" She replied. "Not over text. Can you meet me? Just one time." The smart thing would have been to ignore her, to block her number and tell Dana the truth. But I didn't do that. I told Dana I had to go into work early the next morning for a special project. She kissed me on the cheek and went back to sleep. I met Cassie at a small diner near Silver Lake around 7 a.m. She was already there, sitting in a booth, nursing a coffee she hadn't touched. She looked different. Not bad, just older. More tired. Like the last 2 years had aged her more than mine had aged me. I slid into the seat across from her. "Thanks for coming," she said, eyes low. I almost didn't. "I know." We sat in silence for a few seconds. "I didn't call you here to talk about what happened," she said. "I meant it. I'm not asking for that." "Then what is this?" She reached into her purse and pulled out a folder. It looked old, kind of beat up. She slid it across the table to me. I opened it. Inside were printouts, emails, texts, even some photos. I recognized one face in them right away. Then, "What is this?" I asked, flipping through. "After he left me, I started digging," she said. "He lied about more than just Portland." "What do you mean? He didn't move to Portland. That was just to get rid of me. Turns out he's still in Washington. Still teaching, but not at a school. He runs a youth nonprofit now, one of those mentorship places for troubled teens." "Okay, but here's the thing," she leaned in. "He's using a fake name." I paused, staring at her. "Why?" "Because he's hiding something," she said. "Something bad. I don't have proof yet, but I think he did this before. At his last school." I think I was just one of many. I looked down at the documents again. Some of the emails were dated from before our divorce, way before. "You're saying he groomed you?" She didn't answer right away, just stared at her coffee. "I think he knew exactly what he was doing," she said finally. "And I think he's doing it again. To someone else." I leaned back in the booth. My stomach was twisting. "Why come to me?" I asked. "Why not go to the cops?" I tried. They didn't take me seriously. Said I was bitter. That I had a personal motive. "But you knew him. You saw the signs." "Cassie, I'm not your backup plan." "I know," she said quickly. "I know that. But I need someone who'll listen. Someone who'll help me make this right." I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. She slid one last photo across the table. It was a girl, maybe 16, standing outside a rec center in Monroe. Ben was in the background, smiling, hand on her shoulder. "She's his new mentee," Cassie said. "Her mom's a single parent. Works nights. I've seen him with her 3 times this month." The weight of it all hit me at once. I hated Cassie for what she did to me. But this was something else. And if there was any truth to it, I couldn't ignore it. Even if it meant digging into the past. Even if it meant lying to Dana. Even if it meant burning everything down. I took the folder home and stayed up all night reading through it again. The texts from Ben weren't just flirty. They were manipulative. Things like, "Don't tell anyone about this. They wouldn't understand. And you're special, Cassie. Not like the others." There was a pattern in those messages. I'd seen it in the job site locker room, in bars after work. Guys like Ben knew how to say just enough without saying too much. Just enough to confuse, to control. But what stuck with me most was that last photo, the teenage girl with Ben's hand on her shoulder. Something about his smile made my skin crawl. Not joy, not pride, possession. I didn't tell Dana anything. I wish I had. I kept lying, even when she asked if I was okay, even when she said I seemed distant. I told her it was just stress, that I was fine. But I wasn't fine. I was building a plan. I started by driving out to Monroe, to the rec center in the photo. I hung around the parking lot on a few weekends, just sat in my truck and watched. Ben showed up the second weekend. Pulled in with that same smirk on his face. The girl from the photo met him outside. She looked happy to see him. Too happy. Like he'd become her whole world. He was doing it again. No question. I snapped a few photos with my phone and sent them to Cassie. Her reply came fast. "We need more." So we started working together. Secretly. Quietly. I got into his nonprofit's website, read through the board list, the sponsors. I contacted one of the anonymous donors using a fake email and asked questions about background checks. Got nothing. Cassie reached out to a few of her old coworkers at her school where Ben used to work. Everyone was cagey. Scared. But one woman agreed to meet. She was a teacher, 5th grade. Said her name was Heather. She told us Ben had done this before. With another student's older sister. She'd been 20. Barely. It went on for months. The school told her to stay quiet. Said Ben had resigned voluntarily before they could investigate. Cassie asked why she never said anything. Heather looked her dead in the eyes and said, "I did. No one cared. We had what we needed." But the cops still wouldn't move. Said it was circumstantial. That unless the girl in Monroe came forward, their hands were tied. So we made our own move. We called a meeting with Ben. I emailed him from a burner account posing as a city rep interested in funding his youth program. Told him we wanted to interview him on camera for promotional use. He agreed. We rented a small office space in Snohomish. Set up a couple of fake lights, a camera. Cassie posed as the interviewer. I stayed behind the glass, recording everything. At first, he was smooth, polished, talked about empowering youth and building trust. Then Cassie started asking real questions. Questions about his last school. About why he left. About boundaries with students. He shifted in his chair. Smiled too much. Sweated a little. And then she dropped the bomb. What would you say to someone who accused you of grooming? He froze. Then he smiled again. Said, I'd say they're bitter. Maybe even unstable. You'd be surprised how often people twist the truth. That was all we needed. We posted the full interview online, on Reddit, on YouTube, on Twitter. We didn't accuse him of anything directly. We just let him hang himself with his own words. It blew up fast. Parents started asking questions. News outlets started digging. The girl's mother pulled her out of the program within 48 hours. Then came the anonymous stories. Other women. Other mentorships. The nonprofit shut down within a week. Then disappeared. No statement. No apology. Just vanished. The fallout was worse than I expected. Cassie lost her teaching license. The district called her unprofessional for the sting. Said she showed poor judgment. It wasn't fair, but it happened. Me? I lost Dana. She found the messages. She found the recordings. She packed her things and left without saying much. Just a note on the kitchen table. I don't know who you are anymore. Or maybe I never did. I deserved that. I thought revenge would feel cleaner. Like justice. But it doesn't. It's messy. Everyone gets burned. Cassie and I talk sometimes now. Not often. Not like before. She says she's thinking of moving. Starting over somewhere warm. Arizona, maybe. I told her I'm staying put. That house in Everett is for sale now. Sometimes I drive by, but I never turn in.